Live from Edley's Barbecue in Donaldson. I'm Dan Mandis. Matt Murphy is around here somewhere trying to finagle one Steve Ducey to come on the air. He did say, Murphy Show did say, that he had some sort of an update, so we'll have to see if Matt is able to convince the Fox News TV host to come here to the microphones of WTN. We are, of course, talking a lot about what is going on with the Minnesota shooting yesterday, overnight, and I've been keeping you updated on all the news this morning. A chilling memoir written by the Minneapolis shooter while attending a military-like school has been revealed in the aftermath of the slaughter, which left 2 kids dead Wednesday. The 23-year-old, then a boy named Robert, wrote an ode to death titled, "But Not the End." And you know what his big concern was? His big concern was that death would come with regrets, and this is a quote, "regrets that my name not be known for something more," according to the Star Tribune. In other words, the gunman from yesterday, he wanted to be known for something, and that's why he did what he did. And so I am trying very hard not to use his name, which is, something in the past I haven't really embraced, but this one I am. And here's the thing. Part of what he idolized, and I know that you've heard this 1,000 times, but part of what drove him to this was that he very much idolized other school shooters. The chilling note came from his time as a pupil at St. Thomas Academy, a Catholic all-boys school in Mendota Heights, Minneapolis, where students are referred to as cadets, wear uniforms, and are trained in military skills. Now, everybody knows that he is trans, otherwise known as a man. 23-year-old transitioned when he was 17 years old as well. The suspect behind the shooting that left 2 children dead, 14 other children, and 3 adults wounded has been identified with online videos. He did have an obsession with other mass killers as well as elaborate plans before the attack began. Now, as you know, he killed 2 students, ages 8 and 10. 14 other students and 3 adults were also injured. He was very much of an anti-Semitic. I don't know if you've seen the news this morning. I've been talking about this. Some of you have heard this already. But on a lot of his guns and ammo and all that, he had messages. And those messages were anti-Semitic. There was messages like "Kill Donald Trump." Another message, "Where is your God?" Racial slurs as well. The names of other serial killers, too. And the typical ramblings of someone who would do this. Now, coming up, we're going to hear from the Minnesota mayor, a guy by the name of Jacob Frey, Minneapolis mayor Jacob Frey. And, of course, he is a leftist. And so what he had to say, to be perfectly honest, didn't make a lot of sense when you put it in context. We'll do that coming up. But Matt Murphy, so you were trying to get Steve Ducey to come here to Nashville's Morning News. Did you have any success?
Dan, I have a Murphy report.
Yes.
So I achieved a Ducey conversation.
Yeah.
We went up. They had just finished a hit where they were, eating some delicious Edley's barbecue and whatnot,
yes,
ribs and whatnot. And Steve, I told him who I was, and more importantly, I told him who you were.
Sure. Did you tell him I won a Marconi?
You know what, Dan? Maybe I would have had more success had I done that.
Oh.
No, he's working the room right now,
Yeah.
and I don't think he knows where we are. But he said, "Let me see." This is what he told me.
Yes.
Let me see what the schedule is.
Yes.
And I will get over there if I can.
Do you know what's so funny?
Do you know
what's so funny, Matt?
Uh-huh.
He told me that like 2 years ago when Brian and I were at Kid Rock's place.
Yeah.
And Steve Ducey was there.
Uh-huh.
And I actually, I hope he doesn't remember this, but I cornered him coming out of the bathroom. And I said, "Hey, listen."
Okay, that changes things. Maybe I shouldn't have used your name.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't remember me. So I said, "Hey, listen, we're over here, WTN, local talk radio station, conservative. Just want to have you come over and spend a few minutes talking about the greatness of Fox News and, whatever."
Right. He's working the room. I think
friendly.
he'll get here. I don't think he knows quite where we are. I think he's probably looking for you right now, Dan.
I'm absolutely positive he is not looking for me, but maybe we need to
wave or something.
I am waving. I've been waving all morning. I'm going to need rotator cuff surgery.
When you approached him coming out of the bathroom,
2 years ago,
did you say something along the lines of, "Hey, what you doing in there"?
No, I didn't.
Because that would have been awkward.
That would have been even more awkward than the exchange we did have.
Well, I think I said, Steve, we're with Super Talk 99.7 WTN doing the broadcast because you guys are here, and for Edley's and for the wonderful mission of raising money for veterans.
We are here to support Fox News is what we're doing.
Well, and veterans. Right?
And veterans, absolutely.
Of course. So I think he's on his way. I mean, he's
Do you think he's on his way?
All but here. Do you know what's going to happen? By the way, I'm waving now. I have no dignity left.
You should have printed out a fathead like College Game Day with his face on it.
Oh, that would be good. Maybe some signs.
Do you know what's going to happen? I guarantee you, Matt. This is what's going to happen. I'm finally going to get him over here. I'm not going to know what to ask him. Like I have not actually.
Prepared.
I have not thought about
Prepared.
what I'm going to say to him if he actually comes over here.
So you should say, remember the bit that Chris Farley used to do on Saturday Night Live where he'd interview the really famous people? Have you ever seen this?
No.
He would interview really, really famous people, and he would be so nervous that he couldn't really formulate questions.
Oh, no.
And so, like, Chris Farley's interviewing Paul McCartney, and he says, literally goes, remember that time where you were in the Beatles? And Paul McCartney says, yeah. And he goes, that was cool.
Oh, no.
So maybe you could say,
Sure.
hey, remember that time you were on Fox and Friends?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Is that couch comfortable?
The Fox and Friends couch?
No, I'd ask him. What's the dumbest thing I could ask Steve Ducey? Is the couch comfortable?
I don't know. I try to leave types of things to the experts, so I will leave that to you.
Of asking stupid questions? Thank you, Matt. That was good. I love that. That was good.
But Steve's here, and he said, if time allows, once again, they're working the room.
Yeah.
Marsha Blackburn's here, and I told her you were over in the corner, and she said that she would make her way over. She's working the room.
Yeah.
Like I love watching Marsha in the wild.
In the wild,
wild, right?
Yep.
Because she's working the room like the election is 2 weeks from now. Love seeing that. Gotta love seeing that.
Yeah, it's a long ways away. But it's great that she shows up, and again, for the veterans.
Absolutely, 100% for the veterans. And a number of other politicians
Lee Reeves is here.
Lee Reeves is here.
Mm-hmm.
There's some others. So we'll see what we can do about Ducey.
Yes, Ducey.
I have hope.
Ducey.
I have hope. What would I'm trying to figure out what our Sam brought up the College Game Day signs like they make. The big head signs or whatever. And football season kicking off officially this weekend. Right. I wonder what our sign for Ducey would be. There's got to be a rhyme like
take your Ducey here.
Dan's nice and juicy, and he wants to meet Ducey.
Juicy meats and Ducey seats.
I think these are all way too long for a sign.
No, I kind of like that. Juicy, what was it, Sam? Juicy meats.
Juicy meats and Ducey seats.
Well, that'd be that one right there. That Juicy seat.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
now that
we'll see.
Successfully ruining your show, I'll get out of the way.
Listen, that's okay.
I'm not stopping.
I'm doing a great job myself.
I'm not stopping until he gives me a hard no.
Okay, very good. Well, and just remind him, he promised me 2 years ago at Kid Rock's place.
Okay, apparently they're doing another hit. They got to another part of the room. They're doing another hit. You want me to get in the back? You can see me. You want me to get in the back and wave?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go get in the back on Fox News and wave. Okay, all right, I'll be back.
Let's check traffic while he does that.
Weather goes today, partly sunny and a high of 85. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, I want to hear the typical ramblings of a Democrat as they respond to what happened yesterday in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is the mayor of Minneapolis. This is a guy named I forget his name, Fry something. Is it Greg Fry? I can't remember now. But this is the mayor of Minneapolis. Go.
Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
See, you know what I just heard there? I heard platitudes. I did. That's what I heard. I heard platitudes.
It was a
Of course we
platitudinous
love
speech.
our kids. Yes, it was a platitudinous speech. We do love our kids. But you know what else we've seen? Minneapolis mayor. We've seen members of the trans community, or non-binary people, carry out mass shootings in Maryland, Colorado, Colorado Springs, here in Nashville. I think there was one in Denver, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Now, of course, in Minnesota and, Nashville. So, and I'm sure that there's more that I'm missing. And then don't forget, and I did mention this in the 5 o'clock hour, we also have, y'all have heard of Trans-Tifa, right? Remember in Texas where you had 2 out of those 10 that shot at the ICE officers? 2 of the 10 were also trans. So, I mean, like it or not, friends, we have a problem in America, statistically speaking.
It doesn't help when the mainstream media says that there's a genocide against trans people, and then they get in their own head
There's
about
really
how
not.
they have to defend themselves.
Right, there's really not. There's not a genocide against trans people. There just is not. But here's the problem that we have. The problem that we have is everybody listening to me right now, if you're a conservative and if you listen to WTN, you know what the solutions are. Because every time one of these things happened, we know what the solutions are, right? Fortify the schools, arm security guards, figure out if these kids have been on isotropic drugs, if they're going through the change, are they on any hormones, and how do those hormones interact with those other drugs? I mean, those are very easy questions to answer. Jesse Waters put together this montage of politicians in Minnesota to really drive this point home. This is cut 2 Minnesota politicians.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for our trans community.
For being a safe haven for transgender individuals.
We have sued them for gender-affirming care. Yes, we are not going to scapegoat our transgender community.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
See what I mean? So instead of getting these kids the help that they need, this is no longer defined as a mental illness. And instead, this kind of, you go ahead. You're a man, a boy, but you think that you're a woman, you go right on ahead.
True therapy is not confirming your delusions about yourself.
Right. That's exactly right. We're going to get you a dress. We're not going to get you the help that you clearly need, but we're going to get you a dress. It is absolute insanity. It is encouraged in the media. It is encouraged online. It is encouraged by the Democrats, and it's encouraged by the medical community, the psychological community as well. Remember the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Remember this debate that we had a while ago? Back in 2013, they reclassified transgender-related conditions from labeling these as disorders to something called gender dysphoria, to take away stigmas. But in the process, what they actually did, they took away the urgency to get those with this disorder the help that they need. And that is a problem. I want to play this audio bite. Can you play Waltz on Kids, Minnesota Governor Tim Waltz? This is cut 3. He did say this a while back in that celebration of, kids that are trans. This is what he said. Waltz on Kids.
Minnesota ranks the highest per capita for being a safe haven for transgender individuals in Minnesota. And can I just say, we can talk about economic growth and feeding children and growing the economy and creating jobs simultaneously with talking about everybody's human rights matters, and we shouldn't be demonizing that. You can do both.
Do our kids have the human right not to be gunned down by anyone? And it's not about the gun. And by the way, despite all of this economic prosperity, if you missed it earlier, you've got Tim Waltz, and he's talking big, and here's the deal. This is a big part of the story this morning, is that Catholic and independent schools years ago asked for more money to fund school safety measures. But you know who said no? Tim Walz. That's right. Tim Walz said no. And this was after the shooting in Nashville. There were rising threats and more mass shootings happening at schools. And after the shooting in Nashville, these Catholic and independent schools asked for $50 million, and Tim Walz said no. He said no. You don't get that $50 million to fortify the schools. You don't get that $50 million to get SROs, armed SROs. No, you don't get that armed security. Despite the fact that the state of Minnesota had an $18 billion surplus. Why not? Is anybody going to ask Tim Walz, who's out there bad-mouthing the president at every turn? Is anybody going to ask Tim Walz, hey, Tim, hey, Gov, why did you say no to $50 million that the Catholic and independent schools begged you for years ago? Why did you say no? Inquiring minds want to know. By the way, real quickly, a couple of other things. You always have to talk about the parents of shooters. The parents of this Minnesota shooter divorced. He attended this particular Catholic school back, I think he graduated in 8th grade. He changed his name back in 2020. He was 17, and his parents signed off on the change. Bottom address, didn't get the help that he needed. And still, the questions remain. What kind of hormone therapy has he gone through, if any? What kind of prescription drugs was he on, if any? Had he seen a psychologist or a psychiatrist? And they continue to talk about motives. It is 7:24, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Jay Harper, what's coming up in the news?
Yes, sir, Dan. Of course, the top of the news, as you've been talking, is this shooting in Minnesota. We'll have more on that, the latest. And it's been 18 months since a Hendersonville teen vanished. We'll have an update. That's coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, it's kind of funny, Matt Murphy, because I was going to have a barbecue sandwich. But I left to go to the bathroom, and I got back, and it was gone.
So 2 things, Dan.
Yes.
Well, Dan. By the way, Marsha's here.
Yeah, I know.
Number 1, the sandwich was getting cold. Mm-hmm. The little mini sandwich.
How do you know that I don't like my barbecue cold?
Well, you earlier today were well established that you don't like barbecue.
Well, I was trying to turn a corner today. I was trying to, you know.
Well, take a nice bite of that on air.
Nope, not going to.
Mm-hmm. We'll call it a Danwich.
So I saved you. You don't know this, but I saved you. I saved you by eating that little mini barbecue sandwich because that hot sauce was quite spicy. Mm-hmm. And no offense, Dan, I might be stereotyping just a little bit, but I don't think you could handle it. I don't think you could have handled it.
Okay.
Do you like hot things?
Women.
Food.
Oh, sorry. What? No, my wife. She's the hottest source.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of your wife.
Yes.
And our respective wives, I'm a bachelor for the rest of the week. You want to go out, hit the town with me? I'm a bachelor for the rest of the week.
I know. You might eat my barbecue.
Birthday celebration is ensuing over the course of the weekend. Having a birthday next week. Yeah.
How old are you going to be?
I'm going to be 52, Dan.
I thought you were 57. 58. I thought.
That's you.
Did you now?
Shut up, Sam.
Did you now? No.
Hey, hold on.
Somebody's closer to 60.
Okay, hold on. Is it particularly sad? Sam, can people hear me? Because I got to speak low. Is it particularly sad that the only person that is at my remote is a sleeping homeless person? That the only person back here is a sleeping homeless person.
First off, we say unhoused.
I'm sorry, unhoused. Sam, can people hear that? Because I was saying really. I don't want to wake up.
Financially disparaged.
How do you know?
Well, unless he's dead. I hope he's not dead.
No, not the sleeping part. The other part.
Oh, he's sad. He said he.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad he got some food on him.
He's very proud.
Oh, good. Yeah. But that's not true. Mr. Bill from Hendersonville is right over there.
I see Bill.
He's over in the promotions
very
department.
Good. All right, very good.
We have a wing of Edley's Barbecue that you've set up over here.
Yes.
I mean, this is the VIP section, Dan. This is the place to be. And some people know that. Streetwise people know where to go.
Do you know what's funny? So not only is there a homeless sleeping person here, but we've now lost our engineer and our TV person.
Uh-huh.
Literally, nobody is here but Mr. Bill from Hendersonville.
Well, no, he's got and Greg, Greg, whose name you did not know 20 minutes ago.
Greg, that was not my finest moment.
Dan, can I just pull back the curtain for just a second?
Go ahead.
Dan needed, these remote, I mean, when you're out and about, everything's going a mile a minute.
Yes.
And, I'm not throwing a pity party, but, I mean, I love going out. I love being out. But, I mean, it is frenetic. And there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
And Dan went to break, and he needed something, and he couldn't find anybody. And he looked over to Greg, our promotions man, and said, promotions guy, what's your name?
Well,
it was such a big-time moment for you.
No. Here's the thing. Greg, when you work with talent, what's the first thing you're supposed to do? Hi, my name is Greg. I'll be working with you today.
Who's the talent, though?
Well,
so Greg's waiting to do that when he sees the talent.
Oh, nice. Very good.
In fairness to Greg, you're going to forget in 3 seconds anyway.
Dan may...
Shut up, KGB.
Hey, by the way, Sam, Dan may as well have said to Greg, hey, little person.
No.
Do my bidding.
Oh, no.
I am your superior.
Listen, I don't need to clutter my mind with a name that means nothing to me.
Greg, thank you for coming out. Whatever. All right.
Anyway, Dan.
Yeah.
So speaking
Steve Ducey's clearly not coming over.
Well, he's doing a hit right now.
Yeah.
They're finishing up a hit with Marsha Blackburn.
Okay.
Senator Blackburn, running for governor. I don't know if you've heard.
I have.
Did they try to get you to put on a sticker too?
They did. They tried to make me put on a Marsha sticker, and I said no.
I politely declined.
Yeah.
I said no, I'm good.
I said I will take a point to the bathroom.
And?
Which was better than putting on a Marsha sticker.
Did you get
one? I have
one?
nothing against Marsha.
No, we love Marsha.
But I'm not going to wear a sticker. I don't endorse.
I don't either. And
is that like a philosophical thing for you?
I think it's an antiquated concept that leads to less informed voters. I do not believe that voters should rely, as much as they appreciate your opinion,
right,
as much as they value what you have to say in your commentary on the news of the day, I don't believe voters should ultimately rely on quote-unquote endorsements. And, maybe, and I'm not trying to, say that anybody that does it is wrong in any way. I think it's a self-aggrandizing thing on one side of the ledger, and it leads to a less informed voter population on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people in our business love the idea of politicians begging for their endorsement, and I just don't.
So mine is, and people have heard me say this before, but mine is, number one, I refuse to give politicians my endorsement because if they do something really dumb, then I'm going to look dumb. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, because I don't want people to come out and say, for example, I had Andy Ogles on my show, many times. As a matter of fact, he announced on my show many years ago. And so I had some people that thought that I had endorsed the congressman when I never did, because I don't. But people still had that perception that I endorsed him, and they were disabused of that notion, as our friend Brian Wilson said. But that's the point, is that Ogles, over time has done some things that I haven't liked. And so people are like, well, Dan, you endorsed him. No, I did not. So that's number one. Number two is I refuse to believe that my endorsement is all that important. That's not my. I don't have that kind of an ego.
I mean, I understand that. I think people value Supertalk 99.7 WTN as a resource. I think I would hope that they would value the conversation that we bring to the table, and I hope that it stimulates, their mind in a way where they think about these issues. Maybe it confirms with them that this candidate or that candidate is the right one for them. Maybe it, as you say, disabuses them of that notion. One way or the other, I'm like you. I don't know. I don't know that you should be relying on the loudmouth in the afternoon on Super Talk for your endorsement advice or for your particular voting patterns. At the same time, we hope to necessarily. I'm going to get out of the way. No, she's coming right over here, and I'm getting out of the way.
It is 7. Senator Marsha Blackburn has just sat down at the now. I'm glad that you were able to find the important part of the building. I know that there's that Steve Ducey guy over there. But,
yes.
You found the hip part.
Yes, we did. And, it is absolutely amazing and so much fun. So many Tennesseans are out here early this morning. And, see, they're figuring out what you have to put up with to get up early and be on the air.
I tell you, it's not easy. All right, so let's talk about, not to be a Danny Downer, but, I feel like you've been all about, over the years, protecting children, with online and all that. So, just give me your thoughts on what happened in Minnesota yesterday.
Oh, it is completely heartbreaking. And no one wants children to be in an environment where they're going to be hurt. And to see what happened is just heartbreaking. And these children are going to bear this for the rest of their lives. And I was disappointed with some of the officials in Minnesota that tried to make it about taking guns away from law-abiding citizens. They tried to make it about trans and, don't hate on trans, and taking the attention away from the children. But, Dan, that's where they pivot immediately.
Yes.
Is they want to attack the Second Amendment. And I wish they would work with us on how we protect children. I've had a bill, the Safe School Act, since 2018, have tried to get it passed. Democrats don't want anybody with a gun on the school campus. And, one of the things, too, I found out, and Fox is reporting, this school asked the state of Minnesota for extra help.
$50 million is what they were looking for, and Tim Walz said no.
That's right. And you do need that ability to harden these schools. And that's why I've tried to pass the Safe School Act, which would be grants to both public and private schools to protect our children. And I just heard that yesterday, and it just, it makes your heart weep. And you want to just wrap your arms around these families. And I just pray that God will be merciful and gracious to these families and just hold them close.
One of the things that I noticed, and you spoke about that just a second ago, but where you had Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, where he spoke about how, don't use this as an excuse to hate on trans people. Nobody is. I think what they're doing is they're trying to use that as a defense mechanism because they want to paint our side as hating on trans people, which we're not, but we know what they're doing. They're trying to demonize Republicans. They're trying to obviously demonize guns. It is just what they do, as opposed to actually trying to find a solution.
That's right. And hardening the schools is a solution, and making certain that people that are severely mentally ill are going to be in a place where they are getting that care, changing how they look at what happens on social media with people that are severely mentally ill and posting. And I just, my heart breaks for these families and for all that happened.
Well, you are, of course, running for governor, and if the people of Tennessee choose you as their next governor, what would your plans be to try to avoid this kind of thing in Tennessee?
And, of course, the Safe School Act is something that Tennessee has put a part of that in place. We know that is going to be important to do. I think it's important also to assemble a group that looks at this issue holistically, and this is something that your General Assembly would need to do, your leader and your speaker, and say, okay, how do we address this? How do we make certain we protect law-abiding citizens' Second Amendment rights? How do we make certain that we're going to keep children safe and we're going to keep the public safe?
Senator Blackburn, we all know that the political left plays this against the Second Amendment, and they try to use this as a way to erode from our constitutional rights. At the same time, on our side of the conversation, I find that we talk a lot about mental health, and we seem to reach a roadblock there too, where we want to protect the rights of individuals that have committed no crime that might demonstrate some form of mental instability, but at the same time protect the public from the possibility of committing those types of acts. Where does the government come in that dynamic, and is there a way that we can do better as maybe not even government, but as a society in identifying individuals that are a true and present threat?
Yeah, Matt, that's really where you get to the crux of this issue. And you say, okay, we have to protect these rights, the Second Amendment rights. We have to protect the public. And I've had some great conversations recently with some of our sheriffs, our law enforcement officers, looking at what is happening with that incarcerated population. Many times it is people that do have severe mental illness that get thrown into this loop. And it is, I don't know all the answers to how that is going to be addressed, but having those beds that are available for people that need that treatment, having the ability to have some court-ordered programs, that is something they have brought up. And this is why I think that drilling down on this issue with legislators, with law enforcement, with mental health professionals, and saying, hey guys, we've all got to figure this out. And I don't know all the answers, but I think working on it collectively, that we'll be able to get to something.
Can I ask a lighter question, Dan, on your show?
Go ahead.
May I? Did you try any barbecue today? Have you tried anything from Edley's?
I have not had the chance to get some barbecue, but
it's early for barbecue.
It is early for barbecue and coleslaw. I'm still with that cup of coffee.
One last question from me is, I actually have a poll right in front of me. Most see crime as a major problem in large cities. As you know, President Trump has sent in the National Guard into Washington, D.C. He's also mentioned Chicago. He's mentioned Memphis. And, of course, we know that we have huge crime problems in Memphis and Nashville. So what are your thoughts on the president's comments and your thoughts on sending the National Guard into a place like Memphis?
Well, I would support that. What we have right now is the FBI has been surging resources in Memphis, and they will announce their results and what all they're doing. I'm not going to take that away from them, but I will say their operation has been incredibly successful. And sometimes you have to have that surge to actually get the crime under control and to get these gang leaders, whether they're MS-13, Tren de Aragua, or other gangs, to get them out. And you have to have the ability to pull these juveniles that are committing these violent crimes and actually get them into court and make certain there is some sentencing that takes place so that you can pull these children out of that environment and get them into an environment that is going to be more stable, where they're going to have rehab opportunities, things of that nature. And in Shelby County, you've got some schools that are hard at work on doing this. Pure Academy is an incredible facility there, and they're working with children to be certain they don't get recruited by a gang. And you have the Boys and Girls Club and youth villages and other programs. I did a roundtable with all these organizations and some elected officials a few weeks ago in Memphis to address this very issue. What they want is to get enough surge going that they get the crime under control and they get kids back in school and away from the gangs.
So it sounds like in Memphis, what I'm hearing, because in Washington, D.C., you see the residents of Washington, D.C. loving this. It's the politicians who take exception to all of this. So you're saying you would see and do see a similar situation in Memphis? We've seen tremendous cooperation from officials and residents in Memphis. People want to live in safe communities, and people want to make certain that individuals that are a danger to themselves and others are not going to be in that community. They're going to be in a place where they can get the proper care and proper treatment. And they are trying, I think most communities are trying to figure out how to make that happen so that people that are a danger to themselves and others are going to get the care they need. I don't know. Do you have anything else, Matt, before we go?
I just have one quick question about the campaign and your decision to run for governor. You've been so successful as a United States Senator. You've represented Tennessee so well in Washington, D.C. What informed your decision? What told you that now was the time to run for governor?
Yes. As you work with President Trump and see what he's doing, power and authority that was sent to D.C. over the decades, never should have been there, is all coming back to the states, whether it is on benefits or regulations or energy production, health care delivery, educating our children. All of this is coming back. And as you look at this, we're going to have one shot at doing this right. So just as Tennessee did a reset after the state income tax, we've got to do a reset of how we take this power and authority back. And that is why Trump is going to need such strong governors. He's going to need a great class of governors, because if we don't do it right, what's going to happen? All the power goes back to D.C., and the federal government will be stronger than ever. We as conservatives have said for years, let's get this authority out of D.C., let's get it back to the people and to the states, and now we've got that shot at doing that.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, always great to have you on the morning show and the afternoon show and on WTN. Good luck as the campaign continues.
Always an honor.
We'll return next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.